Hi, welcome back to Grow New Plants. So this morning I'm going to do some cuttings of some Nellie R Stevens Holly. Nellie R Stevens Holly are really cool. They're a hybrid holly, and they grow, if you're not familiar with them, they grow kind of like a pyramid, like a mound, almost pyramid type shape naturally. You still got to prune them up some, but they kind of naturally want to hold that shape. So they're really good as specimen plants. They're really cool. And I actually grew a few last year, and I'll show you those when I move the camera in. So I'm gonna move the cameras in, and then I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna stick them in, how I'm gonna prepare the cuttings, and I'll show you a few that I grew last year to show you kind of how they did. Okay, so these cuttings I took this morning, probably, I'm guessing maybe a couple hours ago. I put them in a bag, kept them cool, put a little bit of moisture in them to keep them fresh, and they're not wilty or anything, they still look great. So I'm going to show you what I did last year first. So these right here are cuttings that I took actually off the same plant as I took these from. And I took them late in the summer, and they do take a little bit of time to root. I can't remember, I'm saying probably at least 2 months before they finally rooted. And then by the time they rooted, and I can't remember for sure, I think I may have had 20 something of them that I stuck, and almost all of them rooted. But by the time they rooted, it was getting into the fall already. So they kind of quit growing. They didn't really put out a lot of new growth or anything, but they were still rooted and everything. And then I had to overwinter them in the greenhouse, which my greenhouse, we've talked about this before, the greenhouse is not heated. And so I ended up having about probably 10 or 11 of them that survived. And these are some of the better ones that have finally started. I up-potted them this spring, and they had decent little root systems on them. I think they were in 60 cell trays, so they were smaller roots than what these are gonna be. These are 24 cell trays. But they're starting to put out new growth, and they're looking great. And I think all the 10 or 11 that I planted are all gonna survive. Some of them just haven't put out any new growth yet. But so these right here, I'm gonna change a little bit, because the ones I planted last year, the cuttings were all only about that long. I'm gonna do bigger cuttings this year. I'm probably gonna do cuttings maybe about this big, and we'll cut the tops of them off to stimulate them to branch, and I'm hoping maybe they'll turn into bigger plants quicker. Plus I'm getting them done earlier in the spring, or I say spring, it's the end of May right now, so it's gonna be more summertime, but that's okay. They'll have more time to root and get going. So what I'm gonna do, and all these cuttings are very similar. These are all pretty much new growth that's come out probably, I'm guessing, in the last month maybe on these plants, so it's all pretty fresh growth, but it's not super tender. It's still, they're pretty bendy up at the top, but the bottoms are starting to stiffen up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here. I don't know where these leaves yeah, I think I can just pull the leaves off fine. So I'm just gonna pull off some of the leaves at the bottom. Actually, I think I'm better off to snip them off. So I'm gonna snip off some of the leaves, and I'll do 2 or 3 of these in real time. And then after that, I'll fast forward through doing the rest of them. So I got that right there, and I'm gonna make a fresh cut. And so there's nodes everywhere on these things. So I'm just gonna come just underneath a node right there. So I got that cut right there. And then I'm gonna come in here, and I'm gonna tip the top of it off, which should stimulate this thing when it finally starts growing again. It should put out new branches. And then I'm gonna come in here, I've got my Hormidone 3, which is what I've decided I like the best. This and the, well crap, I can't remember the name of it. The Clonex are my 2 favorites, but I've got a lot of the Hormidone 3, so I'm probably just gonna use it. So, and I'm gonna take and make a little scar cut right there, and then I'll dip this thing down pretty far into my rooting hormone. And then I got these 24 cell Rootmaker trays, and I'll just drop it down in there. And that gives me the maximum amount of chance for roots to develop on that thing. So I've got probably 4 or 5 nodes underground in that. So we'll just grab another one here. Start taking these bottom leaves off. And my soil is just my regular seed starting mix that I pre-moistened and fill these cells with. And again, these are gonna go in my misting bed in the end. So that's right there, and I'll snip that top off. So that's a little more leaves than what I would normally leave on a cutting. These are I'm gonna have to pack these in pretty good because they're pretty big. They're gonna wanna fall over in the wind. So I'll go in here, I'll make a fresh cut, probably about right there. Now try and make my cut away from any of the nodes. I don't think it's going to really matter that much if I do catch a node, and then we just come in here, stick it in there, and give it a pretty good pack just to hold it steady. So I'll go ahead and do that first row across there. Now this one's actually got a branch on it, but it's too close. I'm not going to be able to save that, so I'm going to go ahead and just take that branch off. Probably I'll just cut that. If I needed to, I could use that for another cutting, but I think I took about 28 cuttings, where I've got 24 to go into this tray. But some of these, they're going to be pretty tall, so that's kind of I've been experimenting with a few other ones that I didn't video just to see what kind of results, some other shrubs and stuff. That's pretty long right there. I'm gonna go ahead and trim that one back just a little bit. Okay, so then we'll come back, we'll make a cut right there. And this, from when I did this with my fig test, making that little cut with this high-powered rooting hormone, the Hormone 3 is really strong. It's got a lot of the IBA in it, so it seems to really grow roots where you make those little cuts at. So here's one more that's a pretty good size one here. I'll go ahead and take I need to find I have a little set of small printers that would work better for this. I need to find those. And then we'll come in here and we'll take that top off, and we'll probably cut them about, we'll go about right there with this one. Just make an angle cut, make my little scar, dip it in the rooting hormone, kind of shake the excess off, and stick it down in the dirt. Pack it down pretty good where it's solid, where it won't fall over. So I'm going to reset up, and I'll fast forward and I'll do the rest of these, and then we'll take a look at the whole tray, and then we'll put them in the misting bed. Okay, so I got them all stuck now. So I did some varying degrees of how far I cut the tips off, and I think only one of them has a double branch coming out of it, and some of them are pretty crooked, but hopefully once they start growing they'll straighten out, and hopefully when they grow they'll branch, and that bottom trunk being crooked won't really matter once they start branching out. So anyway, I've got them all stuck. I got 24 of them. Again, these are the ones that I grew last year that are doing great. These will probably be pretty good sized shrubs, I'm guessing, by the end of the year. Probably late in the summer I'll probably up-pot these to 3 gallons. Anyway, so I'm going to take these, I'm going to put them in a misting bed, and right now I got my misting bed running 10 seconds every 10 minutes from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and stick those in there. They've already got pre-moistened soil, so I'll put them in the misting bed. I won't put any more moisture onto them. It's early today, so they'll get misted several times today, so any more moisture they need in the soil will come from the misting bed. So I'm going to go ahead and post this video, and then I'm guessing 2 months, 2 to 3 months probably, because these do not root really fast. So I'm guessing 2 to 3 months I should have at least can show you some roots on them, hopefully even by the end ready to up pot into 1 gallon pots. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. Please like, please subscribe, and hit that bell notification. That way when updates come out, you'll get notified of those. Thank you. Bye.